Hi friends, good morning to all of you and I welcome you to this class and I hope you are all going through these videos and you are closely following the topics that we are studying. If you miss out some classes then you will lose the link and you may not follow, may not understand what we are talking about. So these days we are talking about the Indian Parliament. What are the functions of the Parliament and so on. So in the last class we saw one function of the Parliament is to select a national government. After the elections, it is their duty to come to the Parliament and to elect a new government. We saw in detail about it. Now the second function of the Parliament is to control. The second function is to control, to guide and to inform the government. That is another function of the Parliament. So from the name itself we can understand control, guide and inform. So we may wonder, how will the Parliament control the government? How will the Parliament guide the government or inform the government? So let us see that. So we saw the Parliament has got two parties. One is the ruling party, another one is the opposition party. And the government will be selected from the ruling party, the party that gets majority of members. They will form the government, and all the rest will be opposition party. And the duty of the opposition party is to check the government, check the policies of the government, whether they do what they are doing is good for the people or not. That is their prime duty. So there is a system in the Parliament in order to check the government. That is called question hour. The members are allowed to ask question to the government. So the policies that they make, the programs that they make, opposition parties can question them. Why are you doing this way? Or what is the purpose of doing this way? Or what do you expect to come out of it? What is going to be the outcome of it? So they can question the Prime Minister or other ministers. So that way they control the government. So government cannot do anything what they like. If they do wrong things, they are sure that the opposition party, they are aware about it and they will come to the Parliament and question them. Why have you done this? What is your purpose? Then they have to explain. They cannot say, I will not say and so. So it is a democratic government, therefore they are responsible to the people and they have to answer the questions of the opposition. If they are not able to answer, it shows the failure or the ignorance of the government or the minister, and so they will lose the support of the people if they are not able to answer the questions of the opposition parties. So that way every MP, it is their duty, their responsibility to check the government, to control the government and to inform the government. So if the government has introduced some policies and the people feel that because of this policy we are suffering, this is going to make us struggle. So it is a duty of the MP from that area to inform the government that because of their wrong policies, the people, certain people are suffering, certain sections of the people are suffering. For example, recently government made new policies with regard to agriculture sector. And the farmers feel that if this law is implemented, we are going to suffer. We are going to lose. We are going to lose the price of the thing. So the farmers are protesting. Several months already they are protesting in Delhi, and the government unfortunately not listening to heed them. Government want to do what they want. Because they have got their majority, they feel that they can do anything. But the farmers are protesting. Farmers are not happy. So that can affect the next election. If the farmers because 48% of the country people are working in the farm, in the primary sector. And so if the people feel, the farm, especially those who are working in the farm, they feel government is not caring for us, the government is not doing good policy for us, it is trying to do harm to us, then next time they will not vote for this government, they will change the government, they will elect some other party. So that will be a great defeat for the party. And therefore every government should see that they are doing good things for the people, so that people will love this government, support this government, and give again another chance to form the government. That is the expectation of the people. So we can say one of the most important thing that an MP can do in the parliament is to ask a question to the government. To ask question to the government, because they make so many decisions, so many laws are made, and so the MP has got the right and the duty to question the government and ask them what is the purpose of this, how is it going to affect the people, and so on. And very unfortunately we have few MPs who go and sleep in the parliament, and the question hour is taking place. When people are asking question and government is replying to them, some of them are comfortably sleeping there. They do not show any interest. They are not worried what the government is explaining, what the government is doing, and so on. So they have to remain alert and listen to the reply that government is giving, and if it is not satisfactory, they should question the government again. So that way raise public opinion against the government. People should be made aware that this government is making wrong policies which will affect the lives of the people, and so on. So it is a duty, responsibility of the MPs to ask questions to the parliament, to the ministers, and so on, to the government. So it is one of the crucial task, responsibility to ask question to the government. Let's see an example of a member of parliament who asks a question to the ministers. You can see in your page number 38. There is given a question that is asked by a member. So we can see what was the question. The question was whether the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights, that is NCPCR, has asked all state governments to ban junk foods in schools and also for setting up of nutrition standards. So there is a commission in India that is called National Commission for Protection of Child Rights. So this MP is asking to the minister, has your government asked all the state governments in India to ban junk foods in the school? You know what is junk food? The food that we can eat ready straight away. All that uncle chips and other fried items, all that you get in the plastic bags, all that is called junk foods. So it is not a good thing for the children to eat all those things, because it contains a lot of chemicals and it will affect the growth. And as you are children, you are growing very fast, and you eat this kind of food. It may be very tasty, very entertaining for time pass and so on, but it affects your health. Therefore, the MP is asking, have you asked all the state governments to ban this food from the schools? So in the school, this kind of food should not be available. Parents or teachers should not allow the children to eat this junk food. And also set up the nutrition standards, and also should set up the nutrition standard. What is the nutritious food that every child should eat in the school? So that was his question. And if so, give the details. So give us the details. What is the nutritious food? What is the quantity or quality of the food that they should eat, and so on. And if the union government has ensured the compliance of the above standards by the states, if so, give details. So that was his question, whether it is given, the order has been given to all the state governments or not. If given, then give the details, and so on. And the minister replied. The minister, who was Minister of Women and Child Development, the reply was A and B, no. So the commission has not given the order to the state government. So there is no chance of giving details. So in a very simple statement they said, no, the order has not been given. And therefore a letter was issued to the states by National Commission for Protection of Child Rights to consider providing guidelines to schools to create school nutritious policy. So only the commission has given a letter to all the state governments to create a school nutrition policy, that every child who comes to school should have this kind of a certain amount of nutritious food. That is only a letter has been given, but the order has not yet been given, and therefore the details I am not able to give the details because the order has not really done. So that is the question they asked, and the minister has to reply. Minister cannot escape. You have to give compulsory the details or give a reply to the opposition party. Then the government gets valuable feedback and kept on its toes by the questions asked by MPs. So when the MPs asking the questions to the government, to the ministers, the government is kept on the toes. Toes means they cannot stand properly or quietly. They are scared whether our work will be accused, or people will accuse us or not. People will find out our fault or not. Whether what we are doing is, people will be happy or not. Always they are tense, because if the opposition party MPs are smart, they'll find out the mistakes of the government and ask questions about that. And the ministers who are not capable, people who are not smart, they will not be able to reply. They will not be asked. So always government is on the tension during the question hour. They will be always under tension. They do not know what is the question they are going to ask. They should be ready to give answer on the spot. They cannot say I will study and come and afterwards and give you answer. They need straight away. When the question is asked, immediately they have to reply. So the government should be really prepared, and therefore they are really tense during the question hours. Then in addition, the matters dealing with fitness, finances, in Parliament's approval is crucial for the government. And government, we know, they prepare and present the financial budget every year. So government will say, this is the income that we are going to get this year, and we are going to spend this much money for this purpose, for education this much, for health this much, for road this much, for railway this much, and for other purpose this much. So government will announce it in the Parliament about the finances that they are going to spend for 1 year. So every year you can see in the TV and so how the finance minister is presenting the budget. So that also they have to get the support and approval of the Parliament. The government just cannot write down anything and come and present. They need to make sure that it is properly balanced. So how they are going to find the income? It is mostly from the taxes. So how much tax from which area, which department we get tax, how much we get from each department, and so on. They have to show it nicely and get the permission from the Parliament. Then the MPs, we know, they are representative of the people. The people are electing them. People are sending them to Parliament. So they have a role in controlling, guiding and informing Parliament, and this is a key aspect of functioning of Indian democracy. So since they are responsible to the people, people who are electing them, they are responsible to that people. They cannot just say, I will do what I want. I am a MP, I am a powerful person, I will do what I want. Nobody should question me, and so on. So they cannot say that. They are representative of the people, and therefore they have the responsibility to control the government. We should not allow the government to do anything that is wrong, anything that is harmful to the people, and so on. They have to control, and they can guide the government. Tell them, government, you should do this way. These are the things needed, which will be helpful for the people, and so on. And should inform the government about the feelings of the people, how the people feel. Do the people feel happy, or are they feeling sad, or are they feeling angry towards the government? So they have to inform the government. Because all the people cannot go to the street and make strike to protest against the government. For example, now diesel prices are increasing, petrol prices are increasing, LPG gas prices are increasing. All these are injustice done by the government to the people. So it is a duty and responsibility of the MPs to protest and to inform and guide the governments. So they cannot expect all the people to do the protest. It is the duty of these MPs, because they are elected by the people in order to support the people, in order to help the people, and so on. So most of our MPs are not doing their work. They just sit quietly and close their eyes, and the government is doing what they want, and the common people are suffering. Now, the third purpose of this Indian Parliament is law making. Law making. So, in this lesson, we will not explain it nicely. We will explain in the next chapter. Next chapter, we are only talking about this point. This topic will be discussed nicely, and the full chapter is about how the law is made and so on. So here we are just casually making all the laws are made in the parliament. It is discussed in the parliament. Parliament means parliament has got two houses, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. So it has to be discussed in both houses of the parliament, and both house it has to be passed, agreed with the more than half of the majority. Then only it will become a law. So that is how. So the MPs are involved in making law for the country. So the MPs, the members of the parliament. So that is another important duty of the government, the parliament, to form the laws. Now let us see who are the people in the parliament. Who are the people in the parliament? Who are the people? The MP, is not, whom we are electing. Who are the people in the parliament? So we can see a chart is given there. So that shows first Lok Sabha, how many people were voting? Only 44.87%. That means not even half of the Indian people came. So after the British government left, the Indians got first chance to go and vote, the adult franchise. But we see not even half of the people made use of it. Only 44.87 people only went for voting. Others were ignoring. They did not bother whichever government comes to power. Then afterwards, in the fourth election, that is in 1967, the percentage increased. 61.04 people came. That is the highest so far. So that year many people came, but still we see the another 39% of the people did not come for vote. Then in 71 it went down again. Only 55.27% of the people went for election. Then in 77 how many people went? 60.49 people. Then in the year 84 that became the highest again. 63.56 people, percentage of the people went for election. Then in 91 it was 56.73%, and in the 2004 it became less again. It became 58.07%. So we see most of the people are not interested in voting. A lot of people are quitting the election, quitting the voting. They are not worried about election and so on. So it is a must in the democratic country to choose the right person. If you ignore, if you don't go for election, others will go and vote for a wrong person, and that person will be elected as an MP, and he may become a useless fellow. He may not be worried about people at all. He may not be concerned about people at all. So we should make sure that We should go and elect a right person who can work for us, who can help us, who can guide our country and so on. So our decision making is very important. If you just don't participate in that, somebody else, the wrong person will get into and will be struggling afterwards. So then there is no use of regretting. So we know our country, we have different categories of people. First of all, we can say there are men and women. And when you look at the parliament, we will see that men are majority, women are very few. So very few women are there. Then we have different caste people, high caste, low caste, Dalits are there. So people who belong to different castes are there. So all these people are supposed to belong to the Indian democracy, and everyone has got the right to join the Indian politics, belong to any party and stand for election and win the election and become the member of parliament. So every member has got the right, every Indian citizen has got the right. But somehow the people have not been making use of their rights. The women have been lagging behind. So for a long time the central government want to bring 33% representation to the parliament of women. 33% of women in the parliament. So that more women will be standing for election and they will become MPs. But it has not become a law because the parliament has not agreed to support this bill. Because we know majority of the members of the parliament are men, and so if the women come up, then men will not get their chance to stand for election. Therefore they are opposing. They say it is too much, and therefore that bill is still pending. It has not become a law. So if it becomes a law, then it is compulsory that out of the total MPs, 33%, that is 1/3 will be women, 2/3 will be men. So let's hope it will come true so that we can empower our women of our country. We can bring them up. So if women become the MPs and ministers, I'm sure they will understand the problems of women, the problems of downtrodden, the poor, the illiterate, and they will be able to work for these people, and as a whole the entire population of our country will be coming out. And so we also need to give importance to Dalits and backward castes and the minorities. So they all should be given a chance. They all should have some people from their community to work in this parliament. So we should not always elect the most high caste person or most important person and so on. Chance should be given to everyone so that every community, every tribe should be able to come up in life. And we observe that in our democracy, we cannot show our democracy as a perfect democracy. As I said, the women are very few, the low caste members are very few are there, and majority of them are belonging to the high caste and so on. So we can say that we have not achieved the perfect democracy. We are still lagging behind. We are still watching the game is going on in the parliament. We are not participating. We are not sending the right candidate and so. So we must stand for our right and we must elect the right person, and then we can see our country will be improving and so on. So we must give proper care, proper representation to scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, Dalits, women and so on. Then only we can say the very purpose of democracy is fulfilled, especially in the case of India. So until that happens, we can say we are still an imperfect democracy. We have not given proper care or proper representation to all the groups and so on. And it is also suggested that there should be reservations of seats for women. We said Government want to reserve 33% for the women, and that also not yet come true. So if it comes, then we can say we are on the way to achieve perfect democracy. Then that issue is still being debated. And 60 years ago, only 4% of MPs were women, and today it is just about 9%. So after the independence, when they conducted election, the percentage of women MPs in the parliament were just 4%. So only 4%. 4% means we can see out of 400 maybe some 16 members were women, all the rest were men. And now it has improved a little more. Now it has come to 9%. Out of this 445 MPs, women are just only 9%, not even 1/10. It is less than 10%. So that is it. And shameful for us. We claim that our democracy is so great, but we are unwilling to give representation to every community, every part of our community, like women, scheduled castes, scheduled tribe, Dalits, and so on. So if all of them are given proper representation in the democracy, in the parliament, then we can say our democracy is improving. Our democracy is on the way to perfection, and so on. So in our country we can say half of the population, total population of our country, half of them are women. But though half of them are women, the representatives are only just 9%. So men are also 50%, and they are getting representation of 91% and women are getting only 9%. So we can see there is a great inequality. Then it is issues of this kind. So this kind of lot of issues are there in our country, in our democracy, and so we need to ask a certain difficult and unresolved questions about whether our democratic system is a representative enough or not. So it is a duty and responsibility of the MPs to control the government or make a law in the government to make sure that the representations are given to every community, to every department, and so to women, to Dalits, to scheduled castes, scheduled tribes. Everyone should have their representation. No one should be put down, no one should be excluded. Everyone should be given opportunity and representation. Then, so we need to ask questions for ourselves. What kind of democracy do we have? Is our democracy good? Is it representing everyone? Is it considering everyone equal, and so on? Otherwise, only in name we will have democracy, and in deed will be very far away from the real practices of democracy. Then that we can ask questions and are working towards answers is a reflection of the strength and the faith of the people in India have democratic form of government. So our constitution makers, they made our country into a democratic country because they knew this is the best form of government, and our country needs this kind of form of government so that everyone can have representation in the government or in the parliament. And so we need to ask that question again and again. So we started this democracy, then why are we failing? Why are we lagging behind? Why are we not able to achieve this goal of equal representation even after more than 70 years of independence? Why are we lagging behind? So for that, each one of us have to try, each one of us has to take care, then only it will achieve. If you sit quietly and say let others do the work, then it will not. So we have to make sure that we do our part properly. So when the election comes, if you find the MP that whom we elected last was not doing well, then we should change him. Should make another person, give chance to another person who will be able to do better. So that way we can really prove that we are doing well. we are trying to achieve a perfect democracy and so on. So that way we come to the end of this lesson. I hope you have understood, and if you have not understood, if you have any doubts, you are free to ask me and I will be happy to clarify your doubts and help you to get your doubts clarified and help you to understand better. So thank you for listening, and we'll meet again in the next class with a new chapter. Until then, bye.